Hey guys, this is Nathan and welcome back to QuixPack. So I have been doing a bunch of mining in between episodes and I have picked up a whole bunch of obsidian now. So I finally made myself a diamond pickaxe and I am now using obsidian for tools because these have a durability of 8,000, which is absolutely obscene when even a diamond pickaxe only has a durability of 1561. So that is really handy. I have not really tried to figure out what the obsidian pickaxe's mining level is, but my gosh, I have mined so much stuff with this pickaxe, and it's still here. So yeah, that is kind of nice. But I am starting to get really full in the ores chest here. And because of the fact that we are starting to get into some tech-related things, I kind of want to start processing all of these ores. The thing is, to process them, I would really like to be able to, at a minimum, double them. Now, we do have mechanism here which will allow for ore quintupling at the end of its tech progression. But for now, I am happy with just doubling the ores. Now, Actually Additions has a very simple way to do ore doubling, and that is through the crusher. Now, this crusher takes 2 cobblestone and iron casing, 2 flint, 2 basic coils, and 2 Redstonia crystals. I mean, that is a really simple recipe. So, looks like we're going to need a whole bunch of the Redstonia crystals. We're going to need some iron. What else are we going to need for that? Well, we need the flint. Then we need sticks. And I think... oh, the black quartz. Black quartz. Okay, so we should have everything that we need to make this now, so let's go ahead and make up a basic... we'll have to break a few of these down. We'll make up another basic coil. Alright, then, whoops, wrong thing. Then we need our iron casing. And then finally, I need to go grab a couple of pieces of cobblestone. So that should be everything. There we go, the crusher. So this thing will crush ores at a cost of 40 RF a tick. Not very bad at all for the price on that. And, what that will allow us to do is turn like our iron ore into 2 iron dust. So let's grab a little bit of fuel here. We'll grab a block of charcoal. And actually we need a redstone torch. Now this is something that I keep seeing in the book and I forget to show it. If we right click, well, right click or shift right click, just right click on... okay, no, this one doesn't work, but this one it does. So if you right-click on the atomic reconstructor with a torch, a redstone torch, it will switch which way it works. And I've kind of noticed something while I'm mining on those little lag spikes. Every time I get one of those lag spikes, there is an explosion down at the bottom of the world. Don't know what is going on with that. But I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to grab the crusher and 1 generator, and I'm going to move these off to the side a little bit. So we'll put down our generator, we'll put down the crusher, we're going to feed this with some coal, and then we'll drop in our iron. And, yeah, that looks a bit more than 40 RF a tick, or 40 RF... I guess it's 40 RF a tick is what it takes. So I'm probably going to want both of these generators to power this thing. See how this does. Okay, yeah, with 2 generators we are producing more power than we're using, but you can see we are now getting the mechanism iron dust, and this stuff we can put into a furnace. We'll put in 8 of these. And it will smelt into iron ingots. So we now have the ability to double our ores. So I am going to start figuring out a way to set up some type of an automation for this, and then I will be back. So I have a very simple setup here. I have put a small storage crate on top of a hopper that is pointing into the front of the crusher, and it's very simply just pulling stuff out of here and dumping it into the crusher. Now I have upgraded the crusher to a double crusher, so it does go faster, but it also takes more power, so now I'm not generating enough power again. But we also have this auto split items. We can turn this on or off, and it will automatically split the items between the two spots in the crusher. Now, coming off of the crusher, I have a transfer node, and that is just dumping into this small storage crate here. And you can see already we have quite a bit of iron dust, quite a bit of gold dust, and one thing that I found nice is that the iron ore has a chance of producing gold dust. So we did get quite a bit of gold dust from the first couple of stacks of iron that went through, but now we need to be smelting this stuff, and I really like the idea of being able to get the experience from smelting. So what I'm probably going to do is set up a furnace array right next to this and let the items be spread out throughout the furnace array, and then all that I need to do is come by and pick the items back out of it. So I think that's what I'm going to set up now, and then we'll come back and take a look at a few more things from Actually Additions. So I was out getting some leather and beef, and I got caught in a thunderstorm, and oddly enough, I have some zombie horses down here. So I had no idea this would happen, but apparently a horse got struck by lightning. I don't know what happened for sure, but I had a zombie horse sitting out in the open. When I approached it, it was much like the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse that you get with the skeleton horses, but it was with the zombies on horseback. So I don't know if that's a modded thing or a vanilla thing, but it was pretty neat. I've got 3 of them down there if they don't despawn. I'm assuming they don't, because after the zombies are off of them, I believe they are a passive mob. But anyway you look at it, the reason I was getting leather was so that I could set up an enchanting setup. So I now have enough books here that this is a level 30 enchantment. Now I did a little bit of level 1 enchanting and got efficiency 2 and unbreaking 1 on my shovel, and smite 2 and unbreaking 2 on my Inori crystal sword. So those are real nice, but I want to get my pickaxes. So this pickaxe is getting fortune 3. That is real nice. Now it was only fortune 3. Magnetic. Ooh. That sounds like it's going to pull stuff in. And fortune 3. Wonderful. Efficiency 4. Yes, we will go with that. Man, these are not getting very good enchants. And unbreaking 3. Yeah, why not? And efficiency 4. So if we were to combine all of these together, we would have efficiency 5, unbreaking 3, fortune 3, magnetic. So these 3 here would need to be combined together. Now, fortune 3 is what I have really been looking for, because coal is a bit in short supply. I've been using the tiny coal from Actually Additions to power the furnaces here, and that's primarily just because we have an odd number of items coming into the furnaces, and I don't want to waste fuel. So this is getting close to done on its smelting. And also I found out that we can double our black quartz by running it through the crusher as well. So yeah, that's been working real good. I think we are going to go ahead and make an anvil and just see if we have enough levels to... Come on. See if we have enough levels to combine these pickaxes together. I know it seems like it'd be kind of a waste, but whatever. So we'll drop this up here. Now if we go with the unbreaking and efficiency, so 7 levels to get to efficiency 5. And 21 to get there. 12. Okay, there we go. So, Fortune 3, Magnetic, Unbreaking 3, Efficiency 5. That is a really nice pickaxe. So I think what I want to do now is go down and see if I can get a little bit of stuff mined. And actually, I have some diamonds down here that I can mine. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. Should be able to get a whole bunch of diamonds out of this. Now, where are those at? They're over here. So yeah, I have been doing quite a bit of mining down here, and it's working really good. So 20 diamonds out of those, not too bad. So yep, I think I am going to do a little mining here, see if I can get some decent coal. And man, getting a slideshow right now. What's going on? But I'm going to continue mining here for a little bit, gather up a few more resources, and then I will be back. So I have done enough mining. I think that it's time to move on to some tech again. And I have my farmer set up here with canola in front of it. So I'm starting to experiment with this oil production. Now the farmer is producing canola and canola seeds. Those are being pulled out and put into the canola press, which is making the oil. Then we're running it through the fermenting barrel, and that produces oil, actual oil from the canola oil, and that's being stored in this basic fluid tank from Mechanism. Now this guy's pretty simple, just iron and redstone, and I think it holds 16 buckets, so there's quite a bit of room there. Now I'm powering this all with an oil generator, but something that I've noticed is this generator just continually uses oil. So I've got to try to figure out something to not waste the oil. But we are getting plenty of oil production. Even with the wastefulness of that generator, we're still producing more oil than we're using. Now, I did make up some fluid transfer nodes. These guys only hold 1 bucket, but the fluid transfer nodes, if we take a look at the recipe on these, it's just like the other item transfer nodes, just with a bucket instead of a chest. So I've got to try to figure out something that I can save the oil. Now, one thing that I have really been looking at is the energy cells from Mechanism. Now, these things aren't real bad to make. We need a steel casing, though, to do it. And for this, we need steel dust, which means metallurgic infuser. So, yeah, the metallurgic infuser will be the first thing that we have to make for Mechanism, but now that we have an adequate supply of power, I think it's about time to start into that. So, the metallurgic infuser, let's take a look once again. We'll just look up Mechanism. So the metallurgic infuser, oh, where did you go? Let's just look up metallurgic. So the metallurgic infuser takes some osmium, iron essence. Oh, great. We have to go into mystical agriculture first because we need an infusion crystal and iron essence. The casings are pretty easy. Obviously, we have to... The idea here is there's a progression for all of the mods. Mechanism, obviously, we have to be into actually additions first, and mystical agriculture. So, yeah, we have both of those to work on. So that will be something that I'll have to look at here in just a little bit. But right now, I'm going to drop this back down. It will recharge these 2 blocks here, and then it will charge itself. Now, one nice thing about this oil generator, it holds its power and its oil when it is dropped. So that is really nice. So for now, I'm just going to be doing this. We'll have tons of oil here very shortly, and I might even make up a few more of those Mechanism tanks. So, yeah, I think it's time to get into mystical agriculture then. So, mystical agriculture, I think we are going to set up on this pad over here. So, I'm going to have to fill that pad in, and then I'll see what's going on with that. Now, this is something that I don't understand what is going on here. Get lighting glitches per chunk, And all that it takes is one block update to update the chunk, but it's really annoying to have that. But anyway, I am going to get this filled in and then start setting up for mystical agriculture. So I have a small farm here set up for the inferium crop, and this is slowly getting more and more populated. Originally, I had a farmer sitting here, and I realized that I was getting one seed per harvest at that time. Well, if we instead right-click on a mature crop, the crop will turn back to an earlier growth state, and we will get a seed as well as the inferium essence. So currently I am manually harvesting this stuff and replanting. I will do that until I have the entire farm covered with seeds, but that's going to be a long time coming, and then we'll have to start evolving the seeds into the various different essences that are available. And so this is going to be a long process. We're not going to be getting into mechanism anytime soon. So instead, I want to take a look at a few other things here with our oil production. Now, currently I have a lot of these fluid tanks, and these guys are actually full. We can't put any more into them. But I have over here some crystallized oil. Now this stuff, the way to do this is you need to put the oil out into the world and then drop a crystallized canola seed into it. Now, I got a lag spike right there, but I'll do this again. So by dropping the crystallized canola seed into it, it immediately turns into the crystallized oil. Now, the regular canola oil, or the regular oil, will produce 120 RF a tick, whereas this crystallized oil will produce 200 RF a tick. Now, to get the crystallized seeds is pretty simple. All that we have to do is grab some seeds and put them in front of the atomic reconstructor. So this is a very simple process. We'll take this and drop these right here. We'll hit the button and voila! We have another stack of the crystallized canola seeds. So we have a couple of things that we need to automate here. First off, we need to have this atomic reconstructor set up to automatically make crystallized seeds. Now, I'm not entirely sure how I'm going to go about doing that, but I'm sure it will have something to do with the mini chests from extra utilities. But we'll have something where it will drop a certain number of seeds in front of it. The reconstructor will fire, it'll pick up the crystallized seeds, and then we'll have to go on to the next step. Now the next step is taking the regular oil, placing it into the world, dropping a seed into it, and then picking it back up as crystallized oil. Now in Actually Additions, we have a couple of items that are greatly going to help this. The first one being the fluid placer, the second one being the fluid collector. And to drop the items, we have this precision dropper. So this will drop in a very specific location, whereas a normal dropper will send the items in a random direction. The precision dropper drops them straight down every time. So there's a few things we're going to have to get set up there. It's going to require a fair amount of infrastructure to do this. And originally this pad was meant to be for animal production. I think it's actually going to turn into our power pad. So I do have more than a few things to try to get figured out here, and I might bring you guys back in the middle of the process. I don't know. We'll have to see how things go. But yeah, I'm going to get to that, and I'll be back in a little bit. Well, I have here now a very dirty redstone system. It has a couple of error checking systems in it, but it does work currently. So to start out the system, we have our fluid placer here full of regular oil. Now a comparator can read off of that thing, and what I'm doing is, if there is a signal here, we're going to activate a redstone comparator clock. This thing has a fair amount of delay, as you can see by the amount of time that it takes for it to cycle around. And so with each cycle, it should try to run one set of oil through the system. Now I have a secondary error checking system here to make sure that there are crystallized seeds in the dropper for the oil to be changed. So if this ever loses its signal, so if we go like this, we will see now this comparator gets locked. If I put these back in here, this comparator will become unlocked. Oh wait, no, I have the system shut off currently. Let me do this. There we go. Okay, so now we can see that the comparator is unlocked, and if we remove all of the seeds, now it's locked. So it doesn't matter if it locks it in a powered state or an unpowered state, because it's the pulses that cause this system to work. So that doesn't really matter too much. But next up, it goes into the main system. Now I had a few issues here. I couldn't figure out what was going on, and I was getting feedback through the redstone. This redstone line here was originally one block lower, and it was getting feedback from this comparator into this block. So that's a bit of a problem that you always have to watch out for with redstone. But this signal from the clock then comes up here, powers this block, which powers the fluid placer and the dropper at the same time. Now it doesn't matter if they are powered at the same time, because if the seed is present, the oil will immediately change. After that, the signal carries around a little further to these two repeaters with 8 ticks worth of delay into this block, which then powers the fluid collector, which will pick up the oil and put it into this tower of tanks. So currently I am just cycling the oil. Now as you can see, I have emptied one of these mechanism tanks. I have 2 more of them to go through, and whoops, I don't want to do that with a redstone torch. Currently I still have 8 buckets of oil in the system. So what I want to do right now is turn this back off and allow the system to do its thing for a little bit. So we're not picking up oil. Why? I'm not sure what's going on there, but for some strange reason it is not picking up the oil. Well, let's see what I can figure out here. Ah, that's why we picked up a bucket of regular oil. So let's go ahead and move that. Now it should work. So that is a little bit of a problem. I don't know why that happened. I suppose it happened when I was working on the other, trying to shut the system off. But now we happen to have a seed laying out here, so I'm going to pick that up. There we go. So now we are getting lower on the amount of oil available. Oh, this is going to be a bit of a problem. Once it gets down to the bottom, it's not going to completely empty. And even though it's going to recognize that there is oil present, there's not enough to place out a full bucket. Okay, well, I'm just going to break that and shut off the clock. I'm going to have to empty this guy manually. So, yeah, the system needs a little bit of refinement, but we are making the oil very rapidly, in fact. And there's still a few more things we need to add with the atomic reconstructor to handle these canola seeds. And also currently I am manually placing the canola into the press. So there is still a little bit of stuff to do, and hopefully I can kind of clean the redstone up a little, possibly put it into some stacked areas rather than being spread out on the floor. This is mainly just a proof of concept for me. So I'm going to work on cleaning this up a little and hopefully get a few more things added into it, and I will be back in a little bit. So I have gone ahead and torn down everything here with the exception of the farm and the generator. Now I did a little experimenting and found out that this generator will give off a redstone signal through a comparator. Now, the way that it works is a 0 signal when the generator is empty and a 15 signal when it is completely full of power. So the way that I have this set up, we have a comparator coming out into a block. That block has a torch on it. So when there is power, the torch is off. That goes into another block, which is picked up by a repeater, put into another block, and then a redstone torch here. So when the generator runs out of power, this turns off, this turns on, putting power into this block, through the repeater into this block, turning this torch off, and then activating the generator. Now, it will only activate for a very short period of time, and then it will run through 1 unit of the oil that it is set to use. And what ends up happening is it will go from almost nothing up to about half full with one of the units of this crystallized oil. So that works real good, but now I've run into another problem, and that is that I need to get power from this generator to the canola press and the atomic reconstructor. And yeah, we have the ability to put them up against this, but that kind of causes some problems, and I don't want to deal with that. So instead, I noticed that Extra Utilities has a wireless RF battery and then a wireless RF transmitter. Now, I have never used these, and I'm not sure how they work or if they even will work for this, but we're going to give it a try anyway. Now, this wireless battery requires stone burnt, and for that we need a resonator. Now, the resonator is a very simple thing to make. We need a block of coal, some redstone, iron, and a resonating redstone crystal. But to power this, we are going to need either a manual mill or some solar panels. And since polished stone is easy, we could use the solar panels. And yeah, I think we might go that route. So I'm going to quickly run over here and get that. So we'll grab some of this tiny coal so that we can make some coal out of it. Because I don't think, no, I don't have any in there. By the way, I have a lot of diamonds now. I think it's something in the order of 2.5 or 3 stacks. We've got 18 blocks plus 7. It's an awful lot of diamonds already. But there we go, 24 coal out of that. So that'll give us 2 blocks. We only needed 1. So the rest of it, I guess we need the resonator. We need some redstone, resonating crystal, and iron. So I need 1 more piece of iron for that. Resonating crystal, and some redstone. Okay, let's go ahead and unpack these. Now I know we have some storage options here, and I just haven't really messed with them. But so we're going to go ahead and make the resonator, and then we need the solar panel, which we're going to need some polished stone for. So let's go ahead and grab some smooth stone. We'll make up some bricks. Okay, that's weird. But we have the polished stone. Then we need some lapis. And what else did we need for that? The resonating crystals. So I'm going to grab 3 of those. That'll make 9 of these solar panels. Yeah, whoops. Let's go ahead and unpack a little of that. There we go. So there's 9 solar panels. Now we can lay these out pretty much anywhere. These do not have to be in loaded chunks. They don't have to be next to the items that are using it. It just creates grid power. And the game just stores that grid power for whatever. So now what we do is we place down our resonator and we put in our polished stone, and we will see fairly rapidly it will make up some stone burnt. So we've got a little of this to make. I'll get that. I'll make up this battery and then also the transmitter, which also requires some stone burnt, and then I'll be back. So this actually does seem to work. We have our major storage in our generator, which stores 50,000 RF. Now this thing does not store much. It's got 3,200 RF in it, but if we look at our canola press, it is currently down on power, But if we put one of these wireless RF transmitters on the side of it, now we will see the power going up. So that actually does work. Now I think these have, yeah, range plus or minus 4 blocks, so we can't go real far with them, but they do work, and that will get our stuff powered, which is what I was really looking for. So yeah, I will just work on trying to get this all set up properly, and hopefully we will have a good working system for the next episode, because we are out of time for today. So I'm going to say thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the episode, don't forget to give a thumbs up. If you are new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe. If you have any thoughts about what I've been working on, be sure to leave that down in the comments. I have links for the pack as well as Quix's channel down in the description, and I will see you guys next time. Bye. Well, surprisingly, clear over here we can get power from the battery to this farmer. You can see this thing is completely full of power. Well, that is pretty cool.